Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday. We have kind of a bummer of a story today.
Yeah, we're still gonna scream, yes! So into your ears and bring some positive energy into this terrifying world.
Yes! Yes!
All right, everybody, on this bright, lovely Friday, let's talk about a virus that's killed hundreds of people. More importantly, let's talk about how it'll affect our video games.
Oh no, this is...
You've gone too far this time, coronavirus. This time, it's your life.
You just look like a weeb Jason Mraz.
We can have full Medicare in this country.
Yeah, I hope you liked that bit, because it's the last one. Yeah, this is a topic that really does suck. Human life is obviously a little more important than video games.
Yeah, I'd say
Nobody's
so.
denying that. And we genuinely extend thoughts of safety and peace to our friends around the world getting hit hardest. We love you guys. We really hope you're hanging in there. But we are video game news, and the show must go on.
And the coronavirus has already made waves in game news here and there, and it's also true that the deadly virus could also impact the next generation of consoles in a pretty significant way, which is big news, so let's settle in and talk about it.
People are already predicting that the outbreak could delay the release of both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X later this year, or if they do launch on time, they could be in short supply.
Yeah, Brian, we've already been seeing some effects, right?
Yeah, it's really rippled out and affected the video game industry, the tech industry, but now it's looking more and more like it could put the next generation on hold in terms of consoles. Now, one of the biggest warnings comes from the Jefferies Group Investment Bank. They recently published a note that said the video game sector is currently manufacturing or beginning to a once in several years product generation change for the 2020 holiday season. If company shutdowns exceed a month or so, game schedules will be delayed. New consoles may likewise suffer supply issues from a prolonged disruption ahead of their fall 2020 planned launches.
Now, if you're not
Translation, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's real bad.
That's actually pretty bad, yeah.
So now if you're not aware of the coronavirus, here's a little background. The first cases popped up in Wuhan, China, and they were reported to the World Health Organization on December 31st. Didn't really make headlines until a few weeks later, and it has only gotten worse.
Yeah, as of yesterday, more than 28,000 cases have been confirmed around the world, and at least 565 people have died. While most of those infected are in China, there are 45 cases in Japan and 12 in the US. There haven't been any deaths reported in the US or Japan, though. We also recommend that if you want to find out more, go to another publication. And
Yeah, probably not us.
Get more information than just this, because people are fear-mongering, people are blowing things out of proportion. Get the right info.
Don't learn anything from three idiots on YouTube about this.
We're here to talk about boxes that can play Master Chief.
So the virus has already affected other tech companies as well. Apple and Google have closed offices as well as limited business travel. Oh, and they've also experienced supply chain disruptions because everything goes through China these days.
I mean, anything you own, basically.
Yeah.
As far as video games go, we already know that the coronavirus is affecting the production of one current console, the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, the Switcherino. Sorry, just trying to dredge up any humor I can without crossing any lines. The big
trying.
Switcho! Switch this! Lights are on, lights are off. Docking. Woo! It's a comedy show.
Yeah, most Switch consoles are believed to be built by the Chinese manufacturing giant Foxconn, which has stopped nearly all of its production in China, and it's going to keep its factories closed for at least another week.
Terrible company. Tell us more about that, Brian.
So Nintendo has said that the outbreak will affect Switch production. They also recently told Japanese customers they've had to push back pre-orders for the new Animal Crossing themed Switch to an unspecified date. So autumn, bad news for you, but you're gonna have to wait to pre-order a little bit longer.
To clarify also, I said Foxconn is a bad company, not because they're closing their factory due to coronavirus, but because of other things.
So now you might remember that Nintendo did move some of its production from China to Vietnam after the trade war between the US and China, but clearly they still have enough production in China that it's being affected by the outbreak.
Yeah, and it's not just Switches that are being affected. Nintendo said that there will be delays in new shipments to Japan of Ring Fit Adventure, which uses a special Pilates-style ring peripheral. Quote, "We will work hard to deliver the product as soon as possible while keeping an eye on the effects of the new coronavirus infection, and we look forward to your understanding," Nintendo said in a statement. The coronavirus outbreak has also forced the delay of the Outer Worlds port to the Switch. That's because the developer working on the port, Virtuos, is based in China, and their office has been closed due to the outbreak.
Yeah, in a tweet from publisher Private Division, they said, "We're delaying Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch due to the coronavirus impacting the Virtuos team working on the port to provide them enough time to finish development." They added, What?
No, what did they add?
They added, to clarify, the team at Virtuos is okay, but their office has remained closed during this time. We're working with the team to determine an updated development timeline, and we'll share more regarding a new launch date shortly.
Yeah, the outbreak also prompted a number of events to be called off as well. Blizzard canceled Overwatch League games that were planned for February and March to, quote, protect the health and safety of our players, fans, and staff. And what else was canceled, Brian?
Also, the Taipei game show in Taiwan was postponed due to the outbreak. A spokesperson said that due to the serious outbreak of Wuhan coronavirus, we have decided to postpone the event to this summer. So yeah, it makes sense why they would do it, of course. And I think there have been some cases that have popped up in Taiwan, but obviously they didn't want to risk any more.
So meanwhile, the virus has sparked interest in the outbreak sim management game Plague Inc., which apparently happens a lot.
Just like mad cow disease sparked a run on the banks to get Farming Simulator. Hey, Brian. Looking good. This doesn't even have to be in the daily.
He just looks damn good.
It's cold.
Burger King? He's the Burger King. Okay.
So sorry. I did not mean to do this.
Smile for the people.
Yes, my liege. Or I'm your liege. Thank you.
Yep. Anyway, the developer wrote that this happens whenever there is an outbreak of a disease, but they added, please remember that Plague Inc. is a game, not a scientific model, and that the current coronavirus outbreak is a very real situation, which is impacting a huge number of people. We would always recommend that players get their information directly from local and global health authorities.
Or gaming YouTube channels. One other related store, Epic Games, said it wouldn't be giving away the game Pandemic for free this week on the Epic Games Store. They didn't give a reason, but you've got to assume that it was due to current events.
Back to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. While neither Sony nor Microsoft has announced a release date for their new consoles, we can make a pretty educated guess about what month they'll come out. November.
Yeah, both the Xbox One and the PS4 released that month. So did the PS3 and the Xbox 360 and the Wii U. Both Sony and Microsoft have dropped that all-important holiday 2020 phrase as well, so November seems like a pretty safe bet.
It's an ideal time because it's just before an all-important holiday shopping season, and it gives manufacturers a chance to ramp up production before people start buying them as gifts.
We're already into February, which means that November is just 9 months away, which means that they've probably either started production of the new consoles or ideally would start up very soon.
So why is China so important to game production, Brian?
Well, because almost 100% of hardware manufacturing takes place there. So yeah, it's real important. And while the Chinese government was slow to respond, they've now locked down the entire city of Wuhan to try and stop the virus. But they weren't really acting like dicks at first. They basically sent police to question that doctor who initially raised the alarm and made him sign a statement. So most of the country is currently under tight restrictions. Ironically, this has caused a spike in video games being played a lot more there.
Yeah, props to that developer who gave away 45,000 copies of Mirror so that Chinese gamers could play anime porn while they wait this out.
Honestly, awesome.
And it's not really porn, it's a match 3 game.
Ow.
But I mean, you could get your rocks off.
So China also produces the vast majority of the world's consumer electronics, not just consoles. People are also predicting that the outbreak will affect production of the next iPhone too, because it's also made by Foxconn.
So needless to say, it's a really strong possibility that this could affect Sony and Microsoft too. If these delays are hitting the Switch, it's not hard to imagine them affecting the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5.
So what would that mean for Sony and Microsoft? Well, like we said, both of those consoles are scheduled to release before the holiday season, and they do that for good reason.
Could they wait a whole other year for the next holidays to roll around, or just launch with a limited supply and hope for the best?
Yeah, why don't you just find the month that statistically has the most birthdays in it? And while shortages suck, maybe they wouldn't be the worst thing for business.
Yeah, the PlayStation 2 and the Wii both suffered massive shortages when they released in 2000 and 2006 respectively. Remember how hard it was to get one of those? God, that was difficult to get a Wii.
We made a feeble attempt to crash a star-studded Hollywood party. Luckily, we knew someone on the guest list who was able to sneak us in.
And while those were obviously frustrating for people who wanted them, both went on to become two of the best-selling consoles of all time.
But for the short term, it could mean that you might not be able to get one of the consoles when they release. And that's looking like more and more of a possibility as the virus isn't showing any signs of being controlled. There have been some promising developments lately, but it'll still likely be a slow process and nothing is guaranteed. So we're all just hoping for the best until then.
So to our fellow gamers watching this right now, hey, you wanna pop on the fedora quick?
Yep.
We'll kind of do this as you're the gamer and I'm...
Oh, okay.
So to our fellow gamers watching this right now, hey, we'll take a gamer step back. We'll all be okay if we have to wait a little bit. I'm sure I'm not the only one with a mountainous backlog of games I gotta get through. How's your mountainous backlog? Damn, you got that mountainous backlog, huh? If you're watching this and you're in a heavily impacted area, our hearts do go out to you, and we hope you and yours hang in there. Best thoughts to everyone dealing with this right now. We're rooting for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't wait for a console if it means people are healthier.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fine.
I'm gonna be okay.
I'll be all right.
Brian?
I can wait.
All
I
right.
want to say something jerky, but I can wait.
We all know what you're actually thinking.
Nope, nothing bad.
All right, have a good weekend.
Is the PS5 really shaped like a cake with a big slice taken out of it, or one of those soft, squishy toilet covers that your grandma has in her house that is surely riddled with bacteria? That's
PS5.
poo-poo and pee-pee little particles.
Sadly, this leak doesn't involve the PS5. That's still under wraps, well, as much as under wraps as the dev kit leaks have made it. But we do have a new